Hello and welcome to Unpopular Roundtable Talks, the show where we take a topic and we deep dive into it. As of late, we've been scouring Reddit to find interesting things to talk about because we have run out of things that we feel are interesting to talk about. And
Hey,
as
hey,
always,
hey, hey, hey.
our what do you call it? Our field has changed so much over the year or two that we've been doing this. We had a whole script, not script. We had a whole agenda to do. Then we switched to doing our own thing, and now we're doing our own thing 2.0. Anyways, here's Mino, my co-host as usual.
What's up, team? Folks. Wait, hold up. What, hey, go on, popcorn? I'm American.
Oh, that's funny. So far we have Alfonso Rodriguez Jr. in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, he trying to troll me with this TSM stuff. Dude, TSM done fall off ever since Bjergsen leaves, so unless they bring him back in, which they won't, fuck them, dude.
We have some people saying Oreos goes great with water and sugar with spaghetti.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I feel like they're doing more hot takes than unpopular opinions, but I like it. I like it.
Well, how do you feel about Oreos with water?
I feel like Oreos should only go with milk.
I ain't gonna lie. I do be drinking water when I eat Oreos.
All right, gotta
But I
end this
won't say
call.
that I wouldn't say it goes great with it. I would say it's not that bad.
Gotcha,
I
gotcha.
mean, like anything sweet goes good with water. So,
Huh. All right. Anyways,
all right, let's go.
all right. So we have a few unpopular opinions. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Oh, I ain't gonna go first.
Okay, okay.
I find some crazy stuff, my boy. Um, well, this first one is mostly just me making fun of how they worded this
Mm-hmm.
because I'll let you hear it. Unless it is a service dog, you are a POS if you think it's okay to bring your entree dog into a grocery store.
Mm.
And the reason why I think that's funny is because does that mean I could bring an untrained service dog into the store? You know what I mean? Like, anyway, that was my issue with that wording. But they
But I
said
feel like
you
the
either
grammar
leave
is
your
right
dog,
though.
unless it's a service dog,
Yeah,
you
that so
shouldn't
that
bring an
that
untrained dog.
includes untrained service dogs in there in the grammar, I believe.
But it said unless though.
Yes, so unless it's
So
a service dog, any untrained dogs can't come in. So an untrained service dog would fit.
untrained service dogs can come in then.
Yes.
Oh,
English is very funny, dude.
okay. So untrained and trained service dogs can
Yeah,
come in the store, but every other untrained dog have to stay out.
correct.
But that's the problem, because I'm sure they don't mean that. I sure they're more like you shouldn't bring untrained dogs into the store, period.
Yeah.
But I don't think I agree with them because first of all,
Wait, wait.
if
Let's
it's a
read it
train,
first. Let's read it first.
fine.
We going too early.
Yeah, yeah, fine. Let me read it. So they said you either leave the dog at home or you come with someone who can watch it outside while you shop.
Mm.
Literally stepped in I literally stepped in dog shit in the produce section, which is disgusting on its own accord
Oh
and
my
not something I
gosh.
should have to be wary of. I found a woman with a dog leaving in the parking lot and she was a prick about me confronting her. So I scraped my shoe off on her windshield and hood. Maybe it was
Wait.
aggressive, but I see this type of entitlement way too often. The fact that she wasn't watching her dog enough, that she didn't clean up after it, was enough for me to go aggro. Don't be that asshole. I say this is unpopular because too many people abide by this and think it's cute and encourageable, which doesn't help.
I mean, it
Go
makes
ahead.
sense. It makes sense, man. Like, I don't want to be walking in no dog poop in the store. That's
That's
not the produce
wild.
I came for.
You in the produce section, you stepping in con.
Why if you slip in it? What if you fall down? Who do you sue, the store or them? Like, it's a liability now.
Dude. Well, all I will say is this, right? People nowadays love animals too much. Like people love their animals so much that they want to bring their like dog into the store. People want to be pet friendly. Oh, this is a dog friendly shop. You can bring your dog in. But honestly, dude, Just leave the damn animal home. That's how I feel, really. Just leave the damn animal home.
I feel like this has more to do with other things we've talked about before because you were saying people treat animals better than people sometimes.
Oh, yeah, they do. They do.
It's not working. All right.
That's like how, like, remember Harambe, the gorilla or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't remember what happened. I guess he got killed or something.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't remember the story because I didn't actually care at the time. Still don't.
Baby fell
Um,
in, I think, or
oh,
somebody
is
fell
that
in.
what happened?
Yeah, I
And they
believe
kill
so.
him for that?
Well, they had to protect the baby.
So they kill him because a human made a mistake?
Yeah, let me make sure. Yeah, on May 28th, 2016, a 3-year-old boy fell into the animal's enclosure and began to be dragged around by the gorilla. Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were drinking.
What? Wait, hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So,
I'm sorry.
wow, okay. I didn't remember that part of the story.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Damn.
crazy.
Okay. Well, maybe well, they couldn't use tranquilizers or something else. Like, I don't understand.
I don't know either, man. I don't know.
Holy cow. So did the kid survive or what? Did he die? I
I
mean, did he
believe.
survive?
I don't know. I believe he did.
So wait, let's think about this. Imagine
Yeah.
this traumatic experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're a kid, you go to the zoo, a big ass ape dragging you around by one leg, up and down rocks and shit. And next thing you know,
Oh
some
man.
sniper just blow his head off. You're just there like covered in monkey blood. Like the rest of your life you just scarred. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Wait,
All right, what you got?
wait. This was people are. Google gives you like what people actually look for. People also ask who was the kid that killed Harambe.
Damn, that's wild.
Hey. Mm-mm.
All right, man. You go ahead. Oh, by the way, so you guys might be wondering about our backgrounds.
Oh.
So we were supposed to be playing chess today. There's a game called Chess Evolved Online, and we were going to play that against each other and just kind of shoot the breeze, play that, talk about strategy, talk about like how we play with each other and stuff.
Mm.
Pause. Um, but then I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? Wanted doesn't really like playing chess that much, and I just kind of being selfish to want to play this game, so I would just cancel it. And then
I don't like chess, but last night I was getting into it. If you saw, like, I was actually like talking to the enemies, like they could actually hear me.
okay, well, by the end of this podcast, we may or may not be playing chess.
Yeah, we'll
But
see.
and then my background is just Ghost in a Shell, one of the best animes out there.
Mm,
And also I just like the color scheme as well. So there you go.
cool, cool. All right. So since you talked about grammar, I have a secret love for grammar police comments. I don't police other people's grammar myself, but whenever I see a comment correcting someone's grammar, I hit that upvote as fast as I can. I'm usually pretty stingy with the meaningless internet points, but being an asshole about spelling and grammar is a surefire way to get me to upvote you. Smiley face. I'd say it's probably too schadenfreude, except I'm all for it when other people correct my spelling and grammar too. All you grammar assholes out there are doing a civic service by educating the world, and I appreciate you.
I feel that. The only thing I don't like about grammar policing is when you're in a debate and then they try to like basically straw man or like red herring the debate by
Hmm.
being like, oh, you're not even smart enough to spell this right or like say this correctly. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, but what does that have to do with what we're talking about though? Like,
Yeah.
how does you talking about me being dumb, basically ad hominem,
Hmm.
change the fact that you're wrong though? That doesn't actually change anything. On the other hand, people also, to me, be going aggro on like somebody like making a typo. And it's like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Like it's a typo. It's obvious it's a typo. It's not an actual grammar mistake or
Mm.
like I don't understand grammar.
But typos don't really fall under grammar, do they?
I feel like to some people, I've seen it like online, people
Mm.
like correcting people like typos and shit,
Mm.
especially in YouTube comments.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What you didn't do for yours was read the comments. I want to read a comment that I see here.
Oh yeah, go
I
ahead.
feel conflicted because with so many people on here or on it online, English isn't their first language. But when the grammar is really bad or just completely careless, it does drive me insane. I feel like the amount of basic mistakes in post titles is lowering our collective IQ on this godforsaken app.
Yo, that person sound like me.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody just dumb nowadays. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can't even be bothered.
Someone said, I find that foreigners who say, sorry for my bad English, tend to have better grammar and spelling than the native speakers who have got to be posting using speech to text. Because how else can you make that many mistakes?
Yo, for real.
Oh, man.
Have you ever used speech to text before?
I tried it and I stopped because it was like, I'm not saying this.
Dude, speech to text would take me more time to do than just typing it out.
When you talk to me using speak to text, I immediately know because it's like, what is this? Why would you even send this?
And it'll be so, and the thing is, right, because we have an accent,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it even worse.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be like, dude, this is literally the, like complete doesn't make any sense about anything I just said.
You know what makes it worse? When you try and call a company and they have like an automated answer machine that wants you to talk to it. Would you like to go to your account? Yes. I'm sorry. I didn't. What else could I have said?
I don't know. I had to just put so for that I usually press mute. Like I gotta
Mm,
put a speakerphone, I press mute, and then I just use the numbers on the keypad. I don't ever interact.
man.
That's funny though.
Yeah.
All right, I have one that's kind of, you know what? I don't know if I should say this one
Uh-oh.
because I don't want to like cause issues, especially since Black History Month was last month.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, watermelon is gross. It tastes like grape flavored chlorine. The texture is weird. The juices get everywhere, and the fruit itself is so expensive, at least where I live. People who like it even tell me that cutting it is a pain in the butt. I could excuse all that if it tasted good, but again, tastes too chemically to let the sweetness actually thrive. Gross.
I feel
What?
like they eating spoiled watermelon. Like, it have to be.
I don't know what they're talking about. Grape flavored chlorine.
How do I know what chlorine tastes like?
First of all,
Gosh.
watermelon don't taste nothing like grape.
No. It tastes like watermelon.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't
Oh,
eat
man.
watermelon. I know this. Like that's crazy.
Man. I would say it's maybe too watery, but I guess that's in the name, so I should shut up myself.
Yeah, like if you eat a watermelon, you expect it to be dry.
Nah, nah, not dry, but like stuff like what is it? Cantaloupe? Like some
Yeah,
fruits I feel like are just too much water in there.
I don't like cantaloupe. Do you like cantaloupe?
No. I don't like
Bro,
cantaloupe or the green one that look like it.
the what is it called honeydew?
Yeah, nah. But I do
Uh,
eat it if they give me a fruit salad. I will, I will go ahead and eat it. But I don't go out of my way to get it. No, grapes, definitely going down.
you like grapes?
I love grapes.
Oh yeah. Okay. Have you? Oh wait. Quick question.
Yeah,
Have you tried the one that tastes like cotton candy?
not yet, but I've heard about it.
Pretty good. But I feel like it's one of those things that you have to share with like a group of people
Mm,
because eating it all by yourself, you get tired of it quick.
mm. Comments,
At least I
comments.
did. Comments. First comment. The hell kind of watermelon are you eating that tastes like chemicals? Somebody else says, whoever says the pain in the ass to cut is just incompetent.
Hmm.
I agree with that. Like, it's actually, no, I don't. I hate cutting the fruit. Like, especially pineapple.
Mm.
Bruh,
Yeah, a little
keep
chainsaw.
that pineapple. Keep that pineapple.
Give
I
me the
will
can.
waste so much of it.
Give me the can.
and somebody said they love it so much as their favorite fruit, along
Mm.
with pineapple, which I think is a fruit. You
Yeah.
think? They said they even eat the pickle rind, which I love too, which they
The
love too.
the who? The
Eat the
inside?
pickle rind.
Like the white part?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Do you know that corn is a fruit?
Corn?
Hmm.
I didn't know that. I thought it was a grain.
So everybody out there, popcorn is good for you because it's a fruit.
Nice. I eat fruits a lot then.
All
All
right.
right. It's kind of hard to go down the rabbit hole on these topics, I feel, because it's like,
Yeah, we gotta find a good one, a juicy one. Oh, it's been what, 20 minutes right now, and when you did three, it's all good. It's all good.
we still
We
have chess.
we need a 3 day weekend. It's absolutely BS that we work 5 days a week and we only have only one day to get all our chores caught up on our rest day. And then Sunday pretty much have to use some of that time to prep for Monday to work. A 3 day weekend will give us one day to either just do nothing at all, productive, like be on Reddit. And then the next we catch up on the house chores. Final day we still relax and make preparations for tomorrow's work day. We feel refreshed and happy and ready to work. Mm,
True. Well, as you know,
mm-hmm,
I work 10-hour days and I get every Monday off. And I'll tell you this, it actually doesn't make a difference.
mm,
Well, I will say this, it does make a difference in terms of, I think what they're saying is true. Like one day I could just rest, do
mm-hmm,
absolutely nothing. Another day I could clean, and then
mm-hmm.
the other day I could prep for work.
Yeah,
But the thing is, like, because well, I'm working from home,
yeah.
I feel like I always have things to do. So like
Mm-hmm.
even on my rest day, I like might be cleaning, or uh like for instance, Monday I might call people like who I can't call during the weekend because they're closed,
Yeah.
to like set up appointments and stuff like that. So I mean, it helps with setting up appointments, I guess, because if Monday is when they're open and they're not open on weekends, then that helps.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. Sometimes it's hit or miss. I wouldn't say it's always like you get at least one day of rest. Sometimes you still end up doing chores or some other thing that you need to do.
So you and I talk personally about work and stuff like that. Do you feel like being at home has made work harder to do for you? Because I know you miss hours and you have to make up hours and like your skip schedule's all messed up. What do you think about that?
Yeah, my sleep schedule is effed, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at first it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I would work my set hours and then I would go to sleep and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But now that I started working at home, what I noticed is that I work a lot more like outside of normal work hours.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that is because like I stayed working when I should stop working,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm trying to make up time because during the course of the day, like I got distracted by my wife or somebody come to visit and I end up chilling with them instead of doing work,
Mm-hmm.
which I probably shouldn't admit that live in case anybody from work ever sees this, but sometimes I literally just chilling with
Mm.
my wife instead of working. And then I'm like, oh shit, I have to actually make up 10 hours of work now. So now
Yeah.
I have to work through the night.
Yeah.
And then that throws me off because now the next day I'm gonna wake up later in the day, start work late, have to work late again,
Mm-hmm.
etc.
Yeah. It's a cycle.
But before then, before I started chilling, because I wasn't always doing that. Before I was actually like diligently working,
Yeah.
and I would like rack up like extra time where I'm just like working off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have like, oh, I worked like 20 hours basically. So
Yeah.
now I have like I could just skip a whole day because I already worked that day.
Mm.
Um, but now I'm like on the opposite end of the spectrum, pretty
You
much.
need to get to a medium, man.
It's hard though because I don't know, like I may or may not have ADHD, right?
Mm.
So for me, is like I get distracted, and I kind of feel like it would be better if I went into the office because one, change of scenery helps,
Yeah.
and then two, like with other people around, it's hard for me to slack off because you know I'm gonna be seeing them or they're gonna see me, and I don't want to like have
Yeah.
people like judge me or like reprimand me or whatever. People don't really reprimand you; they're all colleagues. They don't have authority over you, but
Yeah.
um, nobody could judge me. And then I have a set time to go home,
Mm,
because I have to drive. So I can't just stay there working all
yeah.
through the night. I have to leave.
I feel like that's the same thing that happened with schools during this pandemic. Because like you learn that some kids can work from home and it works for them, and other kids they have to be in the classroom. Otherwise, it's not gonna
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. I kind of feel like maybe I should just do like change the scenery, like go into like Starbucks or something
I was just
and
gonna
do
say
work
like go
there.
to a coffee shop and just chill, or go to the library. You know?
Yeah. But the only problem with that is I have to use a secure network because I work for the government.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I can't
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that.
That some well for me, when I get 3 day weekends is like, man, the best thing ever. Like this week was spring break. I took the week off. I feel so good. And that's because there's no like stress. Even though my phone's ringing off the hook for work, but I still answer it every now and then, take certain calls. But like that was okay. And I
Yeah.
feel so refreshed, kind. I still wasn't sleeping good because I'm on vacation, but I feel like more refreshed, more in tune with my family and things like that. When I get 3 day weekends, it's like I could plan something to do on Saturday and then do all the chores on Friday. So Saturday is just free for us to hang out and whatnot.
Mm.
And then Sunday we just chill and get ready for the week.
Yeah. I hear the baby in the background, by the way.
Yeah, he is just going at it. He
That
has a
boy
lot of
talking.
personality, a lot of personality. Oh man.
Just talking, dude.
Somebody says, though I agree, this is why it's important to find a job where you work 4 days a week. That may come with the 10-hour work days if you want to stay full time, but it's worth it for the added day off. Someone says, I work Monday through Thursday, 10-hour days. The extra 2 hours a day are definitely worth the 52 extra Fridays a year. And I agree with that.
Agree too. Yeah. As much as like I kind of contradicted myself a little bit by saying like it doesn't make a difference.
Hmm.
It really does.
Yeah.
Um, I think we should stop right here and say like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I know this might not be a cup of tea. Our jokes might be a little too crass or a little too racially backed or whatever. But I mean, they say if you black, you can't be racist. So there you go.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
that was a joke.
Oh man.
But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. You can always unsubscribe another time if you don't like us.
Hmm.
All right, so this one is a good one because I feel like this could talk about we could consider like married versus unmarried and whether or not this is important.
Hmm.
You are an a-hole if you abandon a sick person.
Saw that one.
The public opinion seems to be that if a sick person is too much for you, it's okay to just ghost or abandon them and leave them for dead because of mental health. That's what they have it in stars. I don't know why, but anyway.
Gotcha.
I don't know, but for me, it sounds so narcissistic. Like, really, what is wrong with people? Were we supposed to do voices for these people?
You can.
Okay.
Oh
In
boy.
my opinion, you are a huge asshole if you do that. I do not give a crap about your mental health. If
Oh my
that means putting
goodness.
people in danger and abandoning them in the worst way, in the worst days, doing that is so disgusting. Even if the person is mean to you and you have to leave, you should call for help for them. I tell you that. Anyway, and before people come to be like, you clearly have no mental issues or you haven't faced this problem, I have multiple times. Did I run? No. And you shouldn't either. You see the comments while he is dealing with his son.
All right,
All
but
right. No, you go ahead. You let me hear your opinions.
um I agree. I think I agree that if you're well, this is like being married, right?
No,
Or
this is like, well, let's talk about in general and then let's talk about married.
I've never abandoned a sick person. I've never met anybody that was that sick to abandon in the first place. But I feel like I would stick by them because that's just my personality. We talked about this before. I'm a very friend-oriented person, so I'll be there until the last day, probably. Best I could.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. I think So let's compare also mental health versus like a physical ailment because I feel like those two things are kind of like different. Even though
Mhm.
you shouldn't really treat them differently, they kind of do impact you differently.
So if the person is on a ventilator, let's say, and then if the person is just psychotic or has schizophrenia, something
Let's
like
say
that.
depressed. Let's say depressed. Let's say depressed.
Okay, depressed versus vegetative state. I think I'll
Or let's say depressed versus
wheelchair.
dying from cancer.
Okay. I would still stay to help them. I would read up on ways to help them feel better. Like I would just do the most. I would go extra friend, not pull back.
Yeah. I kind of feel like the same, but I also feel like it depends. So I
Mm-hmm.
have like a very detailed take in my head because on one hand, if you like been with that person for like a long time,
Yeah.
then yes, I think you should stick around.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you and that person are fresh,
Mm-hmm.
like you guys, like let's say like it's a woman who was dying for, she has cancer, but she didn't disclose that to you, and she had like 3 more days to live. But like you guys just started dating, and she don't want to like ruin a relationship, so she don't tell you about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you know, then you go to the hospital one day, you take her to the hospital one day, and like you find out like she's dying. She only have like a couple more days to live or whatever, and she
Mm-hmm.
just didn't tell you because she didn't want to lose you or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I feel in that scenario, it kind of puts you in a bad spot. So it's like I wouldn't fault somebody for leaving in that scenario.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do think it's kind of an a-hole move to leave in that scenario because just because of the optics.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but honestly, I feel like it's also an a-hole move on the person who had the disease or the cancer to like not tell you as well. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess my general rule of thumb is if it's like fresh, then
Yeah.
you don't have to, but you
Mm.
probably should. And
Yeah.
if it's like you guys been together for a long time, then you definitely should.
Alfonso says, past job working with cancer patients, it was not uncommon for spouses to ask partner to leave them.
I've actually watched a movie like that. I
Mm.
forgot the name of it though. But if I find it, I will share it with you.
Yeah.
Basically a movie where I think it was on Apple TV where the guy was dying from cancer and he had the opportunity to like get a double to replace him.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the double he would copy himself into the double so it's kind of like the same person.
Mm. Okay.
And he just didn't want his family to know he was dying, basically.
Okay.
I've seen other movies similar to that where the guy would like hide. Usually, a guy would hide that he's sick from his family.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I saw another movie where the guy hid it, and then one night he just like packed up and left, and his family didn't know what happened,
Mm-hmm.
and then he just like died alone, I guess.
It's crazy. I think my wife and I actually talked about this recently. I would just stay. No reason for me to go anywhere. We know each other
I
for
would
so
say
long,
too.
anyways. Yeah.
I actually know a person. I don't want to put nobody on blast, right?
Yeah. Let's not
So
do that.
let me. I want to say who the person is or how they're
Why?
related to me
Why?
because that person has been an a-hole their whole life, I feel. Like, okay, I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to like burn bridges, but
Yeah.
I have somebody who I knew growing up
Mm-hmm.
who basically they were married with their wife, right? And then when she got diabetes and had to get her foot cut off, they
Yeah.
like divorced them.
Huh? For a foot?
Yeah.
No, man.
They divorced their wife after having 3 kids with them. After the wife was always kind of like fat, like not fat, let's say big boned.
Mm-hmm.
No, she fat. So the wife was always like fat, right?
uh.
So I don't know if like for years he had like that kind of resentment from that
Mm.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
But after she got diabetes and stuff, he just like, I mean, granted, he was always cheating on her the whole time.
This story is getting
So
worse and worse the more you talk about it.
yeah, I tell you, this person has been an ass all their whole life. At least their
Oh,
whole adult life. I don't know how they were as a kid, but
yeah.
their whole adult life. And yeah, and this person also has a bunch of children with a bunch of different women all over the world, pretty
Okay,
much.
okay, 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 okay. It doesn't matter anymore. The story is completely
So
different.
No, but the point is, his wife got um, diabetes, had to
Mhm.
get her foot cut off, and then you go leave her with three kids. That's
Yeah,
wild, bro.
yeah. I feel like there's also a realm where you might be that person's only person. So you, in that case, you definitely can't leave. If you know it for sure, then you definitely can't leave.
Read the comments in
But you
YouTube.
can't run away. Oh my
Damn.
gosh.
I just imagine the positions. No, you don't have to
Oh,
worry.
oh my
Anyway,
gosh. You wild as hell, man.
cut off the whole leg. Get out of the way.
Whoa. All right. Um, rest in power is a dumb phrase that makes no sense, especially as a general term for when anyone passes away. What title says? What does resting in power even entail? The fact that people are trying to replace rest in peace, which actually makes sense with it, comes off as incredibly cringy and lacks sincerity. Wait, you didn't read your comments. Let's go back to your comments real quick.
Ah, shit. Okay. You're lucky I literally just closed the tab. The comments say, sounds simple, but not in practice.
Mm,
So basically, harder said than done, I guess. Uh, someone says I would only leave because they pushed me away to wallow in in their sorrow.
mm,
Aw. I think I think I heard something that to me makes sense is
yeah.
that you should do what people need, not what people want. So like, yeah, they want you to leave because whatever, they're not in the right mindset or they're wallowing in their sorrow, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
if you truly care about the person, you should do what they need rather than what they want. So yeah, you should stick around. You should force them to go outside, even though they don't want to go outside. You should, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You should, I mean, it's a thin line though, because you don't want to be verbally and emotionally abused at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to just kind of like set boundaries, but also like try to do what's best for them despite whatever they want.
Mm, gotcha.
Somebody say, what do you mean by sick? Are you talking about when people express that if somebody has a mental illness of which you can't handle, that it should be okay to leave? Because I don't see the issue with that. But if it's like your kid or a spouse, that's a little different. I think what it's saying is if you are talking to somebody like a friend or I guess a girlfriend and they have a mental illness you can't handle, then they don't see a problem with you leaving. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's your spouse or your kid, then you have to stay. And
Yeah.
I kind of said something like that too.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Anyway,
Cool.
comments don't really have anything.
Gotcha.
Yeah, nothing different.
So cut that brother. So rest in power is dumb because it makes no sense, especially that general term for when it passes away. What do you think about that?
I agree. What does it even mean? Rest in power?
So I dig through the comments and actually found a meaning per se.
Okay.
So someone says, I heard it a lot from black people. And someone says, yeah, we have been saying it since the 60s. It comes from black power. When blacks died while fighting for equal civil rights, we wish them to rest in power. The power they died trying to claim, the same power that people tried so hard to take from us, that we knew was inside all along. That's where it comes from.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I
I don't
know.
know if that's true though. Is it true? Like I think people just say anything on the internet nowadays. Like and just state it as a fact and like, okay, I guess it sounds like it makes sense. So I'll take you at your word, but
Mhm.
are you just pulling out your ass or is that truly what it is?
Yeah, let me see. Mm,
My boy says she can't run away. That's funny. I would say this though. If that truly is the reason, then yeah, I think it's fine to say rest in power. I don't have a problem with it. I don't really care what people say about somebody when they die,
mm,
honestly, because anything you say
well,
to or about somebody when they're
that's
dead
better,
is
Chris.
only for like your benefit or like the benefit of people who's still alive. So at the end of the day, who cares, man? Whatever people need to do to cope or like or grieve or whatever, allow them to do it. If they want to say rest in power, let them say rest in power. Because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, the dead person, they're dead. They don't care anymore. They can't care anymore. So I don't know. I don't think it matters.
I see it. I see some history of it, but I'm not sure if it goes that far back. So it might.
All right. But yeah, I don't think it really matters. Like, who cares what people say when somebody dies? Like, calm down. Like,
Yeah.
why are you policing people about what they could say when somebody dies?
Well, you know how this is. We police everything.
Yeah. Shoot, if somebody died and I want to say rest in toothpaste,
Why would you
I
say
mean,
that though?
I know why would I say that, but who cares? Who actually gives a fuck?
I mean, they're family mates.
Get over it. The person dead. Okay, no, no, let me not say that.
Wow,
Let's not.
dude. Come on now.
Let me not say that. Let me not say that. It depends, right? Like if it's like my mom died and I say rest in toothpaste, like that's my mom, it's whatever. Like maybe it's an inside joke. You don't know.
Mm,
Um, so I don't know. I feel like people. I guess it depends. Like you were just pointing out, it depends on the context, right?
yeah,
If
yeah.
it's like a friend saying something versus a family member, like you could have more leeway with family members than a friend.
And that's an important point. I was reading on where was I? I was either on TikTok, unfortunately, or I was on Twitter, and the people. Oh, it was Twitter. Somebody posted a picture of themselves, and somebody was like, "You need to get your Brazilian butt lift." And somebody immediately came after like, "She don't need none of that. She's perfect the way she is." So they had to reply, "It's an inside joke," and like you never know what the dynamic is between two people. So you should just let it
Yeah,
play out. You don't have to police everything that someone's saying to try and be a hero.
yeah. I kind of wish we could turn this into like one of those radio shows where people call in
Hmm.
instead of having like a chat on YouTube.
Yeah,
Just be like, add this on Discord, and then we'll bring you in based on your take
yeah.
and have some people comment because this seems like a kind of thing that it would be nice to hear other people's thoughts on.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
My
I
friend's gonna
mean,
my
yo,
friend's gonna be mad at you for taking her idea, but let's see what happens.
hey, to be fair, I had this idea since the onset of this podcast,
He did.
but we just couldn't,
Yeah,
do it. Like Alfonso in the chat, like Carrie, and I ain't gonna lie,
yeah,
but and I know he would have some funny or interesting takes if I was to bring him onto the show. But I mean, how we'll talk about it offline because I don't
yes.
even know how we would go about doing it.
It's
All
your
right,
turn.
my turn. Now this is something interesting.
Hmm.
I eat
Oh my gosh, please.
and honestly prefer the shells of sunflower seeds.
Okay.
Ever since I was a child,
Suspense was killing me, dude. I proceed.
ever since I was a child, I just toss sunflower seeds into my mouth and eat the things whole. The raw mouth and asshole were worth it enough. In my feeble little mind. As I got older, I understood that the shells you couldn't digest properly, but I'll still just eat a couple whole rather than spend the time playing tonsil hockey with a seed to
Shoot.
get it out of its shell. And I honestly still think it's an inconvenience. Everybody I know thinks I'm crazy, but I prefer sunflower seeds this way.
Yo.
There's no comments underneath this, by the way.
People are really like, what the hell? Is it
this man said,
I
this man
agree though.
said
I agree.
the raw mouth and asshole worth it in the long run. In my feeble little
I
mind.
have too many comments for like a Patreon to add to that. But anyways, I agree though. This is why I don't eat sunflower seeds because I don't like work when I'm eating.
Yeah, same.
Oh
Or
my
what
gosh.
what I had to do is just crack a bunch of them.
Hmm.
Is like basically I doing work and then eat all the seeds at once. Yeah, imagine that.
Is it? Like, well,
That's a
why?
fit. That's the same way I feel about eating pomegranates though.
I don't eat those either.
It's like this is a waste of time. I barely get anything out of this.
I am in my 30s and my mom has to remove the bones from fish for me to eat it. Like, I'm not gonna front.
Damn,
I
that's
ain't got I
intense.
ain't got time to be like Oh, that's a bone. Like, no, I just want to eat and then chew and swallow. That's it.
That's part of why I don't eat like fish that much because I don't like having to deal with that either.
And I'm also traumatized because my brother swallowed a bone when we were kids and he couldn't get it out his throat. So, so from then it's like,
Ye-
I don't want to go through that because I accidentally missed a bone.
Yeah. I've actually swallowed bones before,
Mm,
and that shit hurts going all the way down, dude.
man.
I was just like, I hope at the time I didn't know that it could puncture inner digestive systems too.
Hmm.
So I just lucky that I never got like any internal issues from
That's
actually swallowing a
that's
fish bone.
crazy, man.
Yeah. But I can't tie a cherry stem with my tongue, but I can fish bones out of my mouth very easily. No, pause.
Oh man. Is there any other hard to eat foods that we normally eat as humans?
I ain't gonna lie, I generally don't eat fruits because I don't like having to peel them either.
That's why I like apples. Like it's like all in one. Let's go ahead.
Yeah,
Just miss the core. That's it.
yeah. Actually, I eat the core too for the apple.
You wild man.
The only thing I
You
don't
as
eat is the
bad as this
seeds on it.
person.
I don't eat the seeds on the stem. That's it. I actually eat an apple from the bottom up instead of from the sides. Why? It's
I
something.
I don't even know what to think about that.
Well, okay. Let me just say this, right? The
Okay.
bottom, you have to get rid of that little, like, that dimple inside that
The
goes up.
pucker? Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get rid of that because it's full of dirt. You don't want to eat that,
Mm,
right? Then you want to get rid of the stem on the top, like the
okay.
little dirty area there too, because you can't. No matter how much you wash an apple, it's kind of hard to get into them crevices.
Yeah.
But after you get rid of those two things, you could eat from the bottom up and just spit out the seeds. You're good to go.
That's wild.
I sound like a maniac. I ain't gonna lie.
No, that's not horrible. It's not horrible.
It's not as bad as eating raw sun, like the full sunflower seed, though. I'm talking about the mouth and asshole feel.
Hey, that's
Come on
crazy.
now, come on now, trolling.
All right. Population birth rate decreasing is a good thing. In the 1950, oh my gosh. In the 1950, there was 2.5 billion people on Earth. In 2022, there are approximately 8 billion people on here Earth now. That's insane. In 70 years, population rose like 5 billion. It scares me for the future of overpopulation. Lack of food, water, jobs, homes. Everywhere will be populated. I hope birth rate decreases because this is scary. Edit. Take India, Africa, and China, for example. They are both over a billion people, and most people who live in these countries are in poverty levels.
Well, I work in public health, and I can actually give some insight on this.
Mhm.
But I'll let you go first.
Ah, um,
Okay, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I I think I might agree because I'm not sure, like in the next 10, 20 years, what resources are going to look like. They're already talking about things like running out. Places don't have wings to give people oil running out. All these food,
Wings?
yeah, wings, chicken wings.
You wild. Okay, go
Food
ahead.
shortages. Like I don't know where everything's gonna come from in the future. Like where you're gonna put people. Like the way that we build here is like we just deforest everything and then build up. There's gonna be a lack of green on Earth. They're gonna just look like a gray sphere from space. You know,
Yeah.
because they're gonna find a way to change the land from whatever it is to urban or whatever to be used by people. Then you have industrialization. Hopefully, this is a big rant. Hopefully, they can get um cleaner ways of doing things. It's like take away gas and use like solar and wind so that there's less pollution in the air. But it has been a man a couple of times though.
Damn, you actually covered some points that I didn't think to cover, but now I feel like I have to.
Hmm.
But like, I was going to say that if you truly want population growth to stop, you kind of have to take the Bill Gates route, which is improve people's quality of life. Uh, Basically, um, when people have a better quality of life. So in epidemiology, you have this thing called a life curve, I think it's called. I don't remember because I was back in grad school and I don't use it on a day-to-day basis, so I forget stuff. But basically, there's a trend where as countries get richer, their birth rates drop.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is because, more people have access to healthcare, there are more vaccinations, more people are living longer, so they feel like they have more time to do things. They don't have to rush to get kids.
Yeah.
Birth rates are up, so you don't have to have like 10 kids in hopes of like five surviving,
Gotcha.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Death rates are low. That causes the same thing. So in richer countries, you see birth rates plummet. And then in poorer countries, you see birth rates really high. And you might be people, a lot of people are like, well, why are poor people having so much kids? Like, shouldn't they like know better? But it's not that they are trying to have so much kids. I mean, it's not that they want to have so much kids per se
Mm-hmm.
as a way to escape. But you have to also think kids are free labor, you know.
Yeah.
Um, Oftentimes kids are like secondhand citizens. They don't actually count for a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people.
Yeah.
Kids might be dying because of harsh conditions and stuff like that. So you want to have as many as possible in case like only one or two survive,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So, and because the word is modernizing, poorer countries, that stuff still happens, even though survival rates might be higher than it would have been like in past times, like in medieval times and such like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bill Gates have a very famous TED talk that a lot of people misquote that he's trying to like basically vaccinate people to make them start having kids, and they're basically using that as an anti-vax talking point,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? But what he's saying is that vaccinations help people to avoid these diseases
Mm-hmm.
and improve their quality of life, and that should lead to them having better quality of life, thus producing less children because that's the trend. When you have better quality of life, you produce less kids. So that was my comment on the whole like poorer countries having more children and stuff like that, like bigger populations.
Mm-hmm.
And also, a lot of their big populations at some point when they become more rich, they're gonna age out. So they're gonna have like very few young people and a lot of old people.
Yeah.
So you have to also consider that, especially as quality of life improves and medicine improves, then the old people are gonna live longer, stuff like that. Um, Talking about resources now, I personally feel like we need to kind of do like China in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Might be a hot take, but I feel like people should be limited to like no more than three kids because we are running to resources. I would personally like to go back to a time where we have like forests growing up inside the cities and stuff. Actually, if I could be a mythical like being, I would want to be an elf
Mm-hmm.
because it would be so cool if we could build houses into trees and let the trees still be alive and stuff like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Because I feel like I wish humans in any architectural like documentary I watch, they always talk about how like integrating nature and greenery into architecture helps
Mm-hmm.
improve like people's moods and stuff.
Yep.
It's like obviously we're meant to be in nature. We're not meant to be surrounded by the kind of stuff we're surrounded by.
Yeah.
So I kind of, and on one hand, I do kind of want the human population to like recede a little bit so we could have more nature come back.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's kind of immoral to say like I want people to die out. Like that's kind of
I think your
effed up to say.
first thing was better. Saying like 3 kids per person is better than saying wipe them out.
Yeah, but at the same time, this is this is America,
Oh my
man.
God.
I tried.
We're talking on a global level, and I think this leads into like the future, going into space, calling it somewhere else, but it's gonna be the same thing up there. It's always gonna be the same.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like if you truly believe in human autonomy and freedoms and stuff like that, it's
Mhm.
kind of hard to. But then again, I also believe that we should be able to. Like I remember reading the comic book Black Panther,
Mhm.
and Black Panther was talking about how I think it was even in the movie where he was like, "You guys allow your citizens to smoke and stuff like that."
Yeah,
And he's like, "You guys talk about taking care of your citizens, but then you allow them to hurt themselves."
but then that's hard though. When do you cross the line between like infringing and protecting?
Exactly, and that's kind of where I was going with it. Like, I don't know if you could actually mandate people to. only have 3 kids because
Yeah,
that's kind of like telling them what to do with their bodies.
yeah. I don't know, man. It's a lot. Would you go into
Then
space? Sorry for cutting you off.
go ahead, go ahead.
That's all. Would you go into space to live on a different planet?
Uh, I wouldn't be the first to go,
Oh, obviously,
but I
yeah.
might go if I seen like okay, people been going and they're surviving and they're actually working, then I would go.
What do you think would be besides like what do you think a big pitfall will be into like colonizing space?
Let's assume other aliens exist.
Hmm.
Um, I don't like to make the claim that they do or don't because I feel like unless you could prove it, you shouldn't claim it.
Hmm.
But let's assume they do exist. I think the issues we could run into is running into other species or other people and potentially doing what white people did to the whole planet Earth,
Gotcha.
which is colonizing people and like subjugating them and like try
Mm.
and bend them to your will, basically. I worry that humankind would do that to other species out there.
I don't feel like humans would be considered as the better species, though, in my
You
opinion.
never know. If we
Because
travel in space and they still stuck on their planet, we might have more technology
oh,
than
so
them. You don't
they're
know.
stuck. So we just coming in to take over. Oh, then it would probably
Yeah,
definitely be like that then. Maybe
yeah.
though, with all the education and all the history that we know now, we would probably not do that.
Let's be honest. You know humankind. You know
Yeah,
humans.
yeah. It's
They
just
always want to be superior. Humans always want to feel superior. That's why we have racism and all
mhm.
these other things. People want to feel better than others.
Even in the movies
So
when the aliens come here, we try to treat them like crap anyway. So it's like I don't know what's the mentality.
yeah, they actually have better technology than us, and we acting like we're tough.
My
Wild.
gosh. I felt
The
like
other thing I worry. Go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
The other thing I worry about is like basically doing to the other planets what we did to Earth,
Hmm.
like polluting and like destroying resource, like overusing resources, and like destroying their ecosystems and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think there'll be more war in space than there is here because it's so fresh. It's like everybody wants to have their land for themselves.
Hmm. Like the Wild Wild West, basically in America.
Yeah, because imagine like if we lived on Pangea right now,
Mhm.
everybody would be next door to each other. So it'd be easy to say, well, I want to get, 100 feet more of this person, and they'll be like, clashing like that. So I think on a potential other planet, it'll be like one landmass with like all the countries on that one landmass. I feel like that's like, more at risk for having wars when people get greedy.
Yeah. You know, I always wondered too, like, how much do we need other humans? Like, I mean, obviously, if you've seen like Last Man on Earth or like these other shows where like there's only one person left back,
Hmm.
you see the psychology. And I mean, even if you put people in solitary confinement, it's been documented like how people mental state deteriorates when they don't have other human contact, right?
Hmm.
But I wonder if you go to a planet with just like a fistful of people and you have a full planet and it's just like maybe like let's say 5 separate families and let's say each family is 2 adults and 3 kids.
Okay.
Okay, so let's hope that's enough to like keep the bloodlines not.
Y- Yeah.
So let's say I said 5 or 10 families, it doesn't matter. Now these people are on the planet, right?
Hmm.
What do you think will happen? Do you think they're gonna all live together in a colony like really close, or you think they're gonna spread out across the planet and kind of like claim their own like territories?
I will say both. At first, you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's out there. You're gonna stick together. Then eventually, people gonna butt heads, and then they go want to go their own ways and their own separate ways and do what they gotta do. That's how I feel.
Mm, okay. But by the way, you answered the question. Would you go into space?
I think I would, but not first, like you said. And
Yeah.
also, I would try to be like an ambassador or somebody that does good for the planet, which I probably won't be able to be. So it'll be a while before I go.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be just because. I didn't know this was the XXX channel.
Okay.
Just kidding. Just kidding, YouTube. YouTube, do not ban me or
Oh my
us.
gosh.
But shit, I forget my train of thought. Y'all
Yeah.
razzle me up.
Oh man.
Um, do you think that okay, so what do you think how do you think we would interact with other species if we were to have healthy, like let's pretend that humankind can be better than they are now
Hmm.
in the future, and we actually learn to like ignore our urge for hierarchy and be more like uniform. Let's pretend like a lot of conservative leaning people start to use their conservative thinking to be more well-rounded instead
Hmm.
of narrow-minded.
Hmm.
Um, how do you think that would be between human alien relations?
I feel like it would be probably be great. I don't know if the aliens have their own hierarchies as well, so that's everything has to be perfect. You know what I mean? But if
Hmm.
it was perfect, I think it would be good. You could have trade going on between planets. You could have people helping each other out in times of need. No embargoes, nothing like that. Just peace.
It would be nice, but you know God don't like peace.
Oh my gosh, you wild now. Oh man. The comments pretty much been saying what we've been saying. The double-edged sword. We've made the world better by bringing them out of poverty. Oh, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, okay. It's a long thread to read.
Oh, oh, I have a good one, by the way.
Oh, okay. Time to make countries more developed. The double-edged sword. We've made the world better by bringing them out of poverty. People living in poverty are a lower percentage of the world's population than pretty much any other time in history. But that generally means the rich, developed countries pay the price as jobs are outsourced to developing countries. Not that I'm promoting the idea that we should do nothing. I'm just saying everything has consequences. It's easy for me, a white male from a developed country that has financial means, to say we should help poor people because I will feel zero impact. It's the guy working in a factory in the US, barely getting by, that you have to convince that the loss of his job to a developing country is a net benefit to the world.
Mm. Um, I'll say this.
Hmm.
I feel like there are more riches on the planet than we give credit for. I was watching a documentary or like a YouTube TED Ed kind of vibe thing,
Hmm.
um, where they were basically talking about universal basic income and the pros and the cons. You know,
Hmm.
because nothing is perfect. Nothing that humans could ever do is going to be perfect.
Yeah.
But you know, the basically the discussion was about whether or not the pros outweigh the cons or the cons outweigh the pros. And the one thing that they mentioned was that we have a pie, right? And
Hmm.
everybody thinks that this pie is finite. So therefore, like we want to like hoard resources and do all this stuff because we don't want to ever not get our slice of the pie.
Hmm.
But they were basically saying that the pie is actually infinite because now you don't have just material objects that you're going to trade or buy or whatever. You also have services that you
Mm.
can trade and buy.
Yeah.
And so basically, they were saying like we have humankind still has this perception that we need to always come from this state of we're going to run out of resources. Let's grab our piece of the pie before anybody else could get theirs.
Hmm.
When in reality, we don't actually have to do that anymore. We can actually potentially have a universal basic income and focus more on R&D basically
Yeah.
instead, because that's kind of like where things are kind of shifting. If we could develop technologies faster, that could mean moving to other planets. That could mean making use of resources that we currently haven't even thought to use on that's already still on the planet
Hmm.
and stuff like that. But instead of doing that, we have like the 1% hoarding, we have the middle class being eroded. And I'm mostly speaking from America because that's all I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, humans haven't caught up to the fact that we don't need to be the same anymore. Like we don't need to keep thinking the same way anymore.
Yeah.
That's how like people in like fucking Britain days when they were like warring between tribes and stuff. We don't have to do that kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah. It's a good take.
All right, I have a good one here.
Oh,
So, sorry to all the potential Seventh Day Adventists, Muslims, etc. You guys probably can't chime in on this one, but you could listen. Softer bacon is better than crispy bacon.
oh my goodness.
This one is less of an unpopular opinion and more of a hot take.
Mm,
So when bacon gets too crispy, it gets a weird burnt taste, and I hate the texture of it. I think it's better when it's cooked to be a little softer, not raw, just softer. So I have a problem with this post already because I don't like subjective takes. It's like, okay, that's how you feel, but
mhm.
you didn't give an argument for why. You just
Yeah.
said it feels weird in your mouth and it tastes better to you. Like that's not a good argument.
Yeah,
Anyway, what are your thoughts?
I agree. I know people that like their bacon to be extra crispy, and I can't because then it gets in your teeth sometimes. Like it's too hard. I like it when it's nice and soft, still be able to break apart, but not like
Oh, you like it limp?
a little bit. You know,
Okay.
you gotta take it easy. Not too hard.
That remind me of this line from the WAP song.
Oh,
She was like, "Go in hard, come out soggy."
oh my
I was
goodness.
like, I was like, what? This song wild.
Yeah. But yeah, man, softer bacon is just better to me. Like I like to bake it. I prefer to bake it more than to
Yeah,
like fry it.
yeah, we bake it too in this family.
Yeah.
But I like my bacon crispy. I ain't gonna lie.
There are times when
I
it's good
like,
to be crispy.
yeah, I like the crunchiness of it, especially if I eat it in like a sandwich or something with egg
Mm-hmm.
and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of gives a different texture.
Yep.
Uh, but my wife actually likes it soft. She like it like kind of,
Oh,
pliable.
I was gonna say like you, but like that would been.
Hey, nowadays, I aging
Oh,
out.
oh gosh.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, okay.
At some point in
Um,
my life, maybe.
mm. Movies should focus more on having an engaging story rather than just giving a social message. I've come across multiple movies in past years or so whose prime focus is to give a social message without giving an iota of thought to make the story more engaging. The pacing is usually bad, not much thought is given to character arcs, and the story itself seems to be built around the message they want to convey. I think the message should be a byproduct of the story rather than the other way around. I see a growing trend in these kind of movies and hope classic legendary directors like Scorsese, Spielberg, Edward Zink, De Coppola, Ridley Scott, Ron Howard, Nolan, Kubrick will inspire some directors of the new generation to come up with more entertaining plots. What do you think?
I think I agree.
Mm,
Well, I don't know. I don't think that as many movies as they're trying to make it seem like do that.
mm,
But I feel like for some movies it is obvious that they're pushing an agenda, and I guess that's why the right leaning people are always talking about that kind of stuff.
mm-hmm,
Um, but in other movies, I like that they kind of like make it realistic. Like if it's a black person
mm-hmm,
as the main star, they might be treated differently than if it was a white person who was the main star. And I think that's just a reality of life. Like maybe he don't gain as much doors, or maybe like for instance, if you watch that Captain Falcon uh TV show or the show that was on Netflix where he had the Captain America shield.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like how like he had to interact. Like they basically didn't focus on the whole show, but like at least in the first few episodes, they
Mm-hmm.
kind of touched on like how he was being treated differently because he's black versus like other people.
And
And I
even
thought that was good.
The OG Captain America was he OG? Well, he was one of them. He was black.
Mm.
I
I
think he
never
was
knew about Black Captain America. Oh yeah, yeah, I know you're talking about now.
yeah.
The OG super soldier.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
yes. It's
Yeah,
like
I like that they touched on that.
he couldn't be the face because of the time it was, which is
Yeah,
wild.
yeah, exactly. I think touching on that kind of stuff is good. I don't think necessarily the story was built around that,
Mm-mm,
but I mean, and people could make the argument, oh, they're pushing an agenda by doing this and stuff like that. But it's like, not necessarily. I don't think every time there's something in a show that means they're building it around some kind of message or whatever. It could just be like
mm,
they saw opportunity to put the message in to the
yeah.
story and they did, you
But
know.
it comes into play when there's things like Like Spider-Man, it's had what, three iterations already. You had Tobey Maguire, you had the other guy, and you had Tom Holland. Sorry, other guy, I don't know your name. But like people that aren't comic fans, they're like, why are they always changing this, and this? They don't understand that it's multiverses where you have different heroes of different genders, different races, different classes. There's a plethora of possible choices, and I don't think that gets spoken on enough. Where you
Yeah,
have Batman episodes where there's something always happening, yeah, because it could be different timelines, different things happen before to cause this, and having a black Captain America would be a big deal for the person being Captain America because there's never been a black Captain America before. Well, what do you have to deal with on a when you go home, when you go out into the streets to save somebody? They don't want you to save them because you're black. Like there's a lot of thought that has to go into that. I think they really did a good job of doing that without being like, here's a black Captain America, deal with it. Or push like that he's always going through struggle every single episode to become Captain America. They made it where he's the one internalizing it, having problems with it, but then the story is still good by itself.
yeah, and also too like, well, this is separate, I guess, but I don't like when people get upset about the race of the characters in different shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it depends to me. Like, if the author originally wrote that the person is supposed to be this specific race,
Mm-hmm.
like they actually made it. They actually commented on it. Commented on like the color of their skin or like how their hair is. Like, if they commented on it like specifically in the book,
Mm-hmm.
then sure, maybe that person should stay that race. Maybe.
Maybe.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like people upset about like Little Mermaid being black and stuff like this is
Mm-hmm.
like, who, why do you care?
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't really matter. Like the character literally could be any race. I mean, granted, in that case, the author did say Little Mermaid have red hair and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you wouldn't say a black person has naturally red hair,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not true. Actually, there are black people with red hair. They have what do you call it? With the pigmentation gone.
Little Lego.
Not vitiligo, the other one.
I don't know.
Uh,
Albino?
yeah, they're probably albino.
Mm,
Like there are black people who albino with red hair. Like
yeah.
so, I don't know.
But I think it's not even something that's like factual. It's a fictional story. So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Because let's say you're reading about the Little Mermaid for the first time, but there's no description. You're gonna make your own characters anyway.
Yeah, oftentimes when I read, I've been so in the past when I read books, I would always imagine a white person.
Mm,
Lately, as I grow older, I've been trying to imagine more black people doing the stuff in the books,
mm-hmm,
and I found that they make a difference in like how I even interpret the story.
mm,
Like I started reading this book, the Demonata series again,
okay.
but I'm reading it instead of in order of publishing order. I'm reading it in chronological order,
Mm-hmm,
and so they're talking about uh, this girl named Beck and her mom dying, trying to escape somewhere and bringing her to the place and basically dying at the doorsteps with the baby in her arms, sucking on her nipple.
yeah.
And then they find the baby after, like, I guess the milk run out or what. I don't know what diet they keep producing milk or whatever. But anyway, the baby got found. They bring her into the village and they live in the village.
Mm,
When I first read the book, I imagined everybody white. I imagine her running from like I imagine like back in the day, like Anglo-Saxons or something like these different like European tribes, and the
mm,
mom escaping
yeah.
from like maybe she was a I try and keep remembering this, but I can't remember who made Norse mythology again.
I don't know.
Anyway, I just keep imagining the mom as like a Nordic person, I guess. Like she's a
Gotcha.
Nordic lady
Mm-hmm,
escaping from some other tribe, and she brought into this place. And now I'm imagining like it's an African thing where she's
mm,
escaping from maybe white people pursuing her for slavery or something like that. Like, so it just changes like the way how I even imagine the story to begin
yeah.
with.
I feel like having a blank slate is better. When I used to read, well, I still do, but when I read, I imagine the character as me. So that's like a default black person there.
Mm. What about if it's like a female character? Do you still do that?
For the most part, I put myself in the character, so it becomes me. Like when I was reading Harry Potter for the first time as a kid, I was so scared because like as I'm reading the book, I'm in the book. So it's like my imagination was crazy back then. It still is.
That's pretty cool. I don't think I could do that.
I had to stop reading at night because the scary parts would be at night. I'd be like, nah, I gotta read this tomorrow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You know something though? Do you dream in the first person too?
Yeah.
See, I dream in the third person.
I have done that too in the third person, but it's like for like scenes. Like when you play a video game in the first person and something happens, like a cutscene and you're in third, that's what my dreams are. So like if I'm flying, I can pan out to third person view and like come back when I land to first person view.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I do kind of like have a mix. Like sometimes I'm first person and then sometimes I'm third. Usually I'm third person.
Hmm.
But like first person is usually for like the more raunchier dreams, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And third person is usually for like more violent dreams.
Hmm.
I wonder if that's like a disassociation kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, because and as you know, like nowadays I have less and less. Like I have sorry, let me start over. When I was younger, up until a certain point, I think up until I got married, I always had like quote unquote scary dreams.
Hmm.
You know, either I'm being pursued or somebody trying to kill me or I try and kill somebody or whatever. Not saying that like anyway, it was usually for a reason. But I would usually have scary dreams or like monsters chasing me and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And after a while, it became like normal. Like this is just how I dream. I
Yeah.
don't get scared anymore. I could
Hmm.
watch a scary movie and go to sleep because it don't make a difference, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Hmm.
Um, but in those dreams, I realized I would always be in third person, so I'll be watching this stuff happen to me, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's probably worse.
and the only times I would be like first person is like if I trying to use a power. Because
Hmm.
in my dream, like because also I have lucid dreams a lot of times,
Hmm.
so I could kind of manipulate my dream a little bit.
Hmm.
So sometimes in my dreams, if I didn't like how the outcome happened, I'd like be like, let me try and redo
Yeah,
that
I had to
part of the dream.
rewind my dream sometimes. I'm like, nah, let's just do something else. But then
Yeah,
that kind of backfired. I remember one time for sure because no matter what I did, I kept dying.
same.
So I had to wake up. I
Uh,
was, I was like,
actually, that's
okay, let's get the day started.
yeah. Actually, no matter in my dreams, it's very rare that I rewind and I get a better outcome.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah, and
life. Flashpoint.
yeah, and sometimes in dreams, I just wake up when I think something bad about to happen. I was like, okay, time to get up.
Not tonight. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right, your turn, and then I guess we almost done. We did good.
I have a question about lucid dreaming though.
ReZero anime style. I haven't watched that.
There's a movie I watched, a show. Man, I wish I would remember the names of these things because I feel like it would be nice like to recommend them for you guys to watch, the
Mm,
audience and stuff.
yeah.
But watching this show basically about like outer body experiences and
Hmm.
how like if you lucid dream, you could basically make yourself have outer body experience. Like you could astral project.
Mm,
And basically in the show, what happened was you could astral project. And if you astral project, you could take over somebody else's body if they're astral projecting
mm,
as well.
okay.
And if that person, uh, they can't take back their body basically if somebody else has taken over their body.
Hmm.
Uh, but you could only stay out of a body for a certain amount of time. The more you do it, the more longer and further you could project. Like you could
Hmm.
stay out longer and you could go further.
Yeah.
But basically, there was this person who was basically a serial killer for the most part,
Mm,
who would find people who have lucid dreams, teach them how to astral project,
hmm.
and then basically take over their body and then kill the other body that they're leaving. So that when the person have to return to a body, they're gonna return to that one and die, basically.
Mm,
And what they would do is they would make it look like a suicide, basically. I mean,
interesting.
technically it is because they're doing it to themselves before they astral project.
Hmm. And
So in the show, I wish I gotta find the name of this
is it
show,
a
dude, because
movie
it
or a
was.
show? Because you know you say them in reverse.
Yeah, that's true.
Were there episodes to it?
I don't remember. I think it was a movie.
Okay, Doctor Strange, Our Home, Enter the Void, Doctor Sleep.
It was on Netflix. It was on Netflix.
Okay, that's better. The Ringer?
No, let me look for it. Let me look for it.
Okay. The Ringer is a what's the
Uh, Sorry, guys. We're taking a short pause. If you're listening audio only, we are literally Googling stuff. So please be patient. I wish we had that elevator music or like game show music.
I could do it.
Okay, that's distracting me. I can't type and do that at the same time. Uh,
I guess that should be something that we use in the future.
yeah. Is it Total Recall? I don't remember. Wait, let me look up what Total Recall is about.
Music is on now.
Nope, it's not that. Lucid Dream movie. Netflix. I think it was Netflix. We ain't gonna find it in time, my boy. It's all good. If I find it while we're offline, I'll send it to you, and
Is
then you
it?
could maybe post it in the description of the episode or
Mm,
whatever.
all right. I gotta watch that anime. It looks like. All right, your
Yeah,
turn
me
for
too.
your opinion, then mine, and then that's it.
Ah man, we coming to the end.
Yeah, dude. We
It's only
always
two
think. We always
thirty.
think. Well, by the time we finish talking,
Yeah,
we always think that we're gonna do like short episodes. Like we don't have nothing to talk about. Then we get like the one is like, oh, it's 3 o'clock.
yeah. Oh shit. Here we go.
Yo.
Posting about something kind you did for someone takes away from the gesture.
Mm,
I hate when I see posts or videos of people who are doing basic acts of human decency and respect and act like they're a hero. I'm not saying you can't be proud of yourself, but like, come on. It makes it seem like you're only doing it for attention. There's one post I saw recently that said something about how their school janitor eats alone or something, and they invited them to have lunch with them and their friends. I don't remember exactly. I know that at the end of the day, what is most important is that people are being kind, regardless of the motive. What do you think?
I have conflicting views. So initially, I would agree that you shouldn't like try to post something you do that's good because you're supposed to do good things anyways, right? And you're just looking for clout. But there's a part of me that feels like we need to share these acts of kindness so that the world can see that we as humans are caring beings and we should be caring beings. So like if someone sees you do that, then you're actually gonna inspire them to something good on their on for themselves. Like paying it forward. I watch many YouTube videos about people paying for someone else's food that's behind them, and then that it goes down that line. That inspires someone else to do the same thing too. Like this, like okay, today we're gonna go to McDonald's family, and we're gonna pay for the family behind us, and then now that you've done that, you save them what 20, $30 in buying food. They have money to do something else, and they could pay that forward somewhere else as well. So I feel like it depends on how you use that attention that you get. If it's for your ego, then definitely, if you're trying to do something good for the world, then yes.
Yeah, I think I was on the same beat. At first, I was like agreeing with them, but then after I was like, no, actually, because with so much negativity in the world and with how people like actually
Mm-hmm.
focus more on negativity than positive things,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good for people to like post when they do something positive,
Yeah.
just to barely counterbalance it. And also, like you said, inspire others to like do the same. Like not necessarily post that they're doing it, but like do something kind.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, to me, like people saying like they do something kind and don't post, it's kind of like saying like I'm gonna pray for you. Like,
Mm.
yeah, you could say that you're doing something kind for others, but like,
Are you?
you know how much years I say I'm gonna give money to the homeless, and I still never give a homeless person any money.
Yeah.
It's because usually I don't have cash on me, but also because in the back of my mind, sometimes feel like they're gonna use it for drugs. Not that that matters, because it probably helps them get by.
Yeah.
Their life sucks. But
Mm.
anyway, the point I'm trying to say is like, is sometimes a good deed is easier said than done, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you see somebody else do something, it might make you feel more motivated to do it.
Yep.
Instead of just talking about it, now you've seen somebody else do it, so you're like, I need to stop talking and actually do it,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
If they can, why can't I? You know?
Yeah. You don't have to post it if you feel like that person is being
Yeah.
clout chasing or whatever. You
Mhm.
don't have to post it too, but that don't mean you should knock them for doing it.
I wonder what's the mental state of people who, like, their initial visceral reaction to seeing someone do something to just say, "Why are you posting this?" Like, why not say, "Oh, that was nice of you," or something? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just an initial negative reaction, and I don't know why. It could be jealousy, or I
I
don't
know
know
why.
why.
I know why. So I feel that way about people who post it on YouTube
Hmm.
for like to make money off of it.
Hmm.
If you posting it on a platform where you're making money off of the views, I feel that's where it becomes problematic.
Hmm.
Because instead of you doing a nice gesture and trying to inspire others, you're doing a nice gesture to get like, I don't know, not sympathy money, but like people to be like, oh man, that's so nice of you. Here's my money.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you're basically like leveraging it to make money off of this thing that you
Hmm.
supposedly did for a good reason. So it then turns it into like not a good reason anymore. You're just doing it to make money at that point.
Maybe. I see a loophole where you use that money you make to do more good things. So I mean, it might be okay.
I mean, you would hope so, but you never know,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's a
You
lot of
never know.
blurred
Like,
lines.
and then with how humans are, you kind of always have, at least me, I have always have that paranoia, like people, because of my life experiences, like people appear to be good on the surface, but then in reality, they
Yeah.
just trying to like manipulate slash use people slash
Hmm.
profit off others, etc.
Yeah.
So that's why I personally would feel that way. But if I was to do something like that, where I did a stream where I showed, hey, I did this, I
Hmm.
would actually put like, this is going to be a charity. Everything, all the money made from this video will go to charity. So people
Yeah.
know, like, I'm not trying to profit off of you by showing you this kind deed I did.
Yeah. I guess so. I mean, I don't know. Different thoughts. But to touch on your homeless point that you made, I literally gave a homeless man a bag of food and he turned his nose up and walked away in disgust.
I remember you told me about that.
And then from then on, every time I saw somebody, I was just locking the doors. We're not even gonna talk to you. I locked the doors and the windows.
Golly, your car door
It,
don't automatically
it,
lock?
it hurt. I had to do it just for the sound. So I could hear the click sound.
So you punishing all homeless people for one person?
I'm sorry. It was messed up my day, man. It did mess up my day.
I ain't gonna lie. One, that's hilarious. But I've heard stories like that though,
Hmm.
where you'd be like a homeless person asking for like something, and you like, how about I buy you this thing? And then they're like, nah, I good.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, that's weird.
And that's why people like you feel like they use money for something else. That's not good.
But I have mixed feelings about that, right? Like,
Yeah, I heard you.
sure, they might be using it for drugs, but why are they using it for drugs, right?
Mm,
One, they might be addicted. They don't have any like help to get unaddicted, and they're going to have to do something potentially harmful to themselves
yeah.
or harmful to others if they don't get that money anyway,
Hmm.
because they're going to still have to get their fix if they're addicted, especially.
Yeah.
So why not just give them the money? At the end of the day, you know, God forbid they might overdose, and then that will be one less person anyway.
Stop
So
it.
no, I wasn't trying to be funny. I was just saying,
Mhm.
like, at the end of the day, like, it doesn't actually hurt you to give them that money. It more likely gonna hurt them in the long run.
I don't know. I feel like humans, even though they have their flaws, they have some things about them that make them stand out. I feel like no one wants to be an enabler and cause something bad to happen in the long run. 'Cause I mean, obviously, you probably won't know if anything happened to them if you'll see him again. But if you know, like, I gave him that $10, he did that to himself, now he's dead. That's on you. If that's the kind of person that you are.
But well, okay, that's one way to think about it. So that's why I say, like, I don't ever think that way though. I don't
Mm,
ever feel responsible for other people's behaviors. Like, I give you the money, you do that, you kill yourself. that's not my problem. You shouldn't have done that. Like,
Mm,
and that might just be like me being callous, or maybe I like to say I'm just too logical. Like I can't afford the empathetic feelings for something that I didn't actually do to you,
mhm,
you know? But I don't know. I feel like on one hand, it doesn't matter. Like, just give them the money or don't. It's up to you.
mhm,
But I don't think saying like they're gonna use it for something else is a good enough reason to not give them the money personally. And that's just like a subjective opinion. I think
mhm.
if you do feel like you don't want it to have your money to use for drugs, then that's fine. Like, that's your money.
Yeah,
But I don't think actually it matters. Like, they're gonna use it for whatever. They're not gonna let themselves die. They're gonna buy food and stuff too. Like, they have to. Like, they have to eat. They have to drink water.
yeah,
So maybe every once in a while they use drugs. Maybe if you're really concerned about them using it for drugs, why not get them some help then? Like, be like, hey, how about instead of me giving you money, I take you out to eat and we sit down and talk about your life, and I figure out like whether or not you're using drugs from that. And
mhm,
then from that, because also too, like, homeless people, they usually frequent the same spots. So if you pass the same area, you're probably gonna see that person every single time. So I like videos on YouTube where like you see them like actually getting to know a homeless person, and they like drive around with them and they get them a haircut and they take them out to eat and they do all this stuff with them. I
mm,
like those videos a lot because I feel like if more people did that, maybe you will see like, okay, they're actually not using my money for drugs. I could give this person money, kind of thing.
just people need it needs more people with more time to be able to stuff like that.
True. And
But
also, I don't want a
no,
homeless
no,
person
no,
in my
no, no,
car.
no. We should just blame the people that need to be blamed. Like, who do you think should be taking care of the homeless people if they can't do it themselves?
I personally think the government, but I'm sure right-leaning people would disagree.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of things that's wrong in the country can be handled from a public health perspective.
Hmm.
But the problem is America is too concerned about capitalism to use public health to its full potential.
Oh, gotcha. All right. So this is actually line up with what you just read. People shouldn't post online publicly if they can't handle getting opposing views in the comments. Now, I'm not referring to straight up bullying or name calling. I'm talking about when someone makes a post stating something, opinion, experience, etc. And so often I witness a poster getting offended at someone else's opinion to what they publicly posted. Not everyone is going to share your exact view, and they are as free to comment and say what they think about that thing just as you are free to post them. Don't post it publicly if you don't want random people to comment on it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. On the other hand, if you post it and people comment on it, you don't have to reply. Like, you could just ignore
Oh,
them. So
yeah.
yeah, I don't really know what much to say about this. I already agree.
Yeah.
I could give examples though. What about you?
I think I agree with it, but it depends on the tone and the language used, right? It's not just like if they come at you extremely negative for no reason because they don't like what you said, rather than having an opposing view and just stating it in like a conversation back and forth.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I feel like it depends also on how the exchange of information is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's in text, it's going to be a shit show
Oh yeah, definitely.
because you should never have any true discussions in text because people are going to read into what you're saying. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to put a tone on there that might not be the tone that you was using.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Hmm.
gonna read between lines that don't exist. Even though
Yeah,
you literally type something on the screen, they're gonna still interpret it completely different from what you typed on the screen.
yeah.
So I often feel like a lot of these kind of conversations that people will be having on the internet should just be over voice. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I've seen people like Ben Shapiro and this other guy who has this like change my mind thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel like they don't really be having true conversations.
Mm-hmm.
They just be doing gotcha takes and
Yeah.
gotcha statements. Um,
And
or they
even
don't,
when they're talking to people, they're not trying to actually have a conversation with them.
yeah. So I feel like it depends too. Like, it doesn't always matter really, because some people just have their opinion,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't matter what the evidence is, doesn't matter what reality is. Doesn't matter. Like they're gonna just have the opinion, and that's the end of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to say about those kind of people.
Yeah. But I agree with you. I feel like if
How
you
do you
have it,
feel
if,
if?
sorry, go
Sorry.
ahead.
No, no, you was talking.
If you have it out there, you're gonna get everything. You get the whole spectrum of responses, so you should be ready for it. That's all.
Yeah, like even how we have our videos right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like Abba and Preach,
Mm-hmm.
they put their videos out. Even just last night, I was watching one of their videos and I disagree with them.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it was about. It was basically this girl. I believe she was Muslim,
Mm-hmm.
but she has an OnlyFans that she does porn.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's Lebanese or something. I don't know. She lives in some country where she could potentially be killed if people find out who she is.
Mm-hmm.
So she always wearing like now that we have COVID, she wearing like the COVID mask.
Yeah.
She always have it on at all times in all her videos. Or kind of dumb on her part, she shows just like her lip and like blocks off the rest.
Okay.
Um, but the point is, she does OnlyFans, I think, with her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she's going to school to be an engineer. And basically, mm, Abba was saying like what she's doing is wrong because she basically disrespecting their religion.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with him because to me it's like who cares? Like if she was wearing a nun outfit, nobody would blink an eye, and it would also be her making fun of religion. But I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that what she's doing is right per se. My argument doesn't really counter that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and honestly, like that's his subjective opinion that it's wrong. And I think the part of the argument that that's the next thing too. I think in most things there should be something where you agree with and something where you disagree with.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like you completely like, disagree with everything that they're saying, or else what the fuck? Like they
Well,
have to be saying something
unless
that
they're
makes sense.
completely wrong, then
Well, yeah, if they're talking about anti-vaccine,
mm.
yeah. But even in that, like for instance, people using the I wish my brain would work better. People using the Tuskegee experiment as
Mm-hmm.
why they don't get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Like there is some truth in there,
Mm-hmm.
but it just doesn't apply to this thing. So it doesn't. It's like it's partially true. Like sometimes people use things that's partially true to justify their thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And in that case, it's like you could at least point that out to them. Like, yeah, this part of what you're saying is true,
Mm-hmm.
but this part it doesn't apply, or this part is wrong. Like that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like there's usually some kind of truth behind why people believe whatever they believe. It might be misinformation or it might be misinterpreted truth, but
Mm-hmm.
it might still be true.
Yeah.
In their case, they were saying like you disrespecting the religion, and even though I personally don't care about what you're doing, there are people who are viscerally getting hurt from what you're doing because for them this is real, like that's their
Mm.
beliefs and you're
Yeah. Yeah.
like making fun of it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why they think it's wrong. And I was like, that's true, I guess. Like I could agree with that part.
But let's say they do delete her, are you gonna feel? Well, you won't feel bad for her, but it's
Or
like
not.
I feel like the world is
I
so
mean, I would feel bad
diverse.
for her because I don't think people should be killed
Yeah.
for something so stupid.
Hmm.
um
But like
but
it's a part of the culture. So like I guess that's what they mean by it's bad or wrong because that's what. So I guess she'd have to like denounce herself from it completely to be able to do that.
she already said she's no longer Muslim. I should
Mm,
probably share a video with you. She was
mm,
also in one of her videos she was saying why she's no longer Muslim.
yeah. Okay.
For the same reasons everybody is not whatever religion they are. Is like, well, this thing is inconsistent, it's not fact based, blah blah blah.
Okay.
um so she gave her reasons,
Hmm.
but she still wears hijab and stuff and does that kind of
Uh,
content.
mm,
And I
I guess
mean, honestly,
yeah.
people want to see that kind of content. Even Abba was like, yeah, I searched that. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh my gosh. Uh, the comments pretty much said what we said.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't really read the comments, because I feel like a lot of times it's very rare that you find a comment that's gonna be substantially different.
Yeah.
Here's a good one I disagree with strongly.
Okay.
Back in my day, parents would take responsibility for their quality of their parenting. No, seriously, with the amount of complaining I see from boomers and Gen Xers and even more recent older millennials, all I can think is if your kids collectively suck so hard, maybe the first place to start looking for answers is in a mirror.
I'm going to. I can't answer this in one way or another, and that's the thing about me. Like I can't just answer initially because I have to think about everything.
Mm,
But at first I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But then I'm like, well, kids are all different and they all have different things going on with them anyway. So like you can't predict what your kid's gonna become. Even the best parents could have bad kids. So that's
yeah.
my initial take.
Yeah, I don't know what I mean by take responsibility for the parenting. Like, for instance, when my mom found out that I'm an atheist, right?
Hmm.
She was like, "Oh, it's my fault. I didn't take you to church enough." Like that, she
Hmm.
was like blaming herself for that.
Yeah.
But that wasn't like necessarily. I wasn't necessarily a bad thing. She was basically saying that what I was bad.
Hmm.
So like taking responsibility for that is like, I don't care if you do or don't because you
Yeah.
shouldn't feel bad in the first place. Like you shouldn't look at it as a negative thing in the first place.
Yeah.
But then other things like you know, my mental health or like how I interpret certain things. I don't know if my mom necessarily takes responsibility for that. If I point it out to her, she might be like she might apologize and stuff.
Hmm.
But I don't think like her like just seeing me in day to day would have like recognized like, oh man, I should take responsibility for how Fion turned out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's more like I point out to her and then she's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, kind of thing.
Yeah. I think my mom had a spat of that though. There was one day she sat us down and she was like, she started being a bad mom. She could have done so much better. And she started to cry and like, I felt bad because, you did the best you could do with what you had.
Yeah,
Especially in my case, my background, what I went through is like there's nothing else you could do. It's not even your fault for that. But
yeah,
there are kids out there today who I feel need something because they don't have any manners and they
tell me
don't have
about it.
anything, no reason to be good. And I feel like that may be on the parents. It may be, but I'm not sure if I can say that.
You want to know who I blame for that?
Ooh.
I blame capitalism.
Mm,
We're becoming less social and
yeah,
more like self-centered and self-focused.
yeah,
And because of that, I feel like kids aren't seeing examples of how to like be good to your neighbor kind of vibe, you know
I
what I mean?
gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then with the uns with the with the internet and cyberbullying and all these being anonymous and all these kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
people darker side have more leeway to show itself.
Yeah, yeah.
So then it's even less likely that they're gonna be a good person. I feel at least behind the screen. Maybe in person they're too much of a coward to do the same thing that they would do on a computer.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Do you think it takes a village? Removing that from the equation also affected the way that kids are growing up?
definitely. I think it takes a village to raise a child for sure.
Yeah,
Um, no, that goes into another thing that I kind of like think about sometimes, which is like using violence to raise kids and stuff like that.
yeah,
Because back in the day when I was a kid, when they said raise a village, it would mean like everybody could just beat my child, pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but I don't agree with that. I think takes a village means more like I could depend on you to watch my child while I go out without
Hmm.
like my child getting killed or like molested, you
And
know?
probably discipline from a different perspective.
Yeah, and discipline them without using violence. But I mean, back in the day,
Yeah.
they only use violence to discipline kids.
Like I went to school, I did bad, my teacher beat me. Then I got home, then my dad beat me. Then my mom got home, then she beat me. Like, okay.
Oh, that happened to me a lot growing up.
Yeah, but it's like you don't need
The
that.
whole family would beat me. The
That's not
whole
what the
family, dude.
that's
The
not what
whole
the village
family.
meant. The village meant like,
Yeah,
instilling different things, different parts of who you are into them so that they can be a better person.
yeah. So Alfonso said he ran a STEM kids program, and he think there are many factors, including location being a big one.
Mm,
And I think that's true. Like, for instance, I moved to the States.
yeah.
If I lived on St. Croix, I would have my mom, my grandma, I would potentially have Alfonso and other people who still live in islands
Hmm.
who I'm still friends with. and I could just like interact with them and be like, hey, I gonna drop off. Can you watch so and so while I go,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
do whatever? And I could trust them enough to like do that.
Hmm.
Granted, I would probably have taught them about whether or not they could use violence on my kids in terms of disciplining.
Yeah,
But I also feel like my kids gonna be well disciplined without needing all that anyway. But you never know actually with
yeah,
kids. But
yeah.
in America, with how far apart different neighborhoods are, even
Hmm.
to just like visit your mother-in-law or whatever, you have to drive like an hour and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's like you don't actually have a village, but like the village is so dispersed
Hmm.
that it's kind of hard to make use of it.
Yeah. What I wanted to do, a goal of mine, is to build a center back home on each island where kids can go after school and like do homework, do activities and things like that. But it's gonna be huge. So
Mm.
you're not gonna be a latchkey kid. Cause I know those kids have a lot of issues. Cause I'm one, so I'll be home all the time by
Mm.
myself because it's just me. I wasn't burning the place down. I was just doing my homework, playing video games, and my brother and sister come home. I have to do the same thing, take care of them, basically. But if you have a place to go to do your homework, meet your friends, make new friends, which is important, and just stay off the streets, especially for back home, it's gonna be a good thing.
Yeah. Don't you think that schools could offer that? Like after school, you know, um, you could stay on campus and as long as you're doing something productive.
Have you seen the textbooks in schools? Things like that's gonna cost money because you gotta pay the people to come there to do it.
Yeah,
There,
but no, I mean, what am I saying? So with your idea, right?
mm-hmm,
It would be, I guess, better because it would be like multi schools, different people from different schools come in there too.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I think it run into the same problems that you run into if you just left it at the school. Like you would still need money for all of that, and you would still
Well,
need.
yeah, that'll be the purpose of the whole thing. But doing it at school, you need somebody to be there to watch the kids.
Mm.
And most of these teachers already
Well,
have their own
teachers do be
kids.
going above and beyond
I wouldn't want
already.
to do that to them though.
True.
Yeah. And like what if you
Speaking
have like
about teachers,
elementary kids, it's like a different a different set of things you have to do compared to like high school kids.
yeah. Speaking about teachers and their going above and beyond for their shitty compensation,
Yo.
how much do you think teachers should make?
My wife and I were actually talking about something like this. I have a question, but
And let's
that's
say it's a
after.
salary job. It's a salary job rather than whatever it is now.
In a perfect world where everything moves together, I would say 40 to 50K.
Okay. That's a lot less than I was gonna say.
Less.
Yeah,
I
that was a
mean,
lot less than what I was gonna say.
it's hard because like how important do you think a
Well,
teacher
not a
is?
lot less. It's slightly less than what I was gonna say.
Do you think teachers are the most important people in the world? Because to become
Yeah,
everything
I
else,
think
you need a
so.
teacher, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think teachers should be making only slightly less than a college professor. So let's say a college professor making, I don't even know how much they make, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume they making 90K.
Mm,
They might be making less than that, but let's say they're making 90K.
mhm,
High school teacher should be making high school and below, because I don't think they should make less than they're doing preschool, right? I mean
mhm,
elementary. But like high school teachers probably making like 60, 70.
mhm.
I think that's more in line. I think that's a more livable wage. Because I personally feel like you can't really live in America making 50K or less. It's too hard. Like rent and all that stuff
Yeah.
and all the stuff you have to pay for, especially if you have student debt,
Mhm.
it's almost impossible to live off of that.
So
Personally, I couldn't do it unless I was single, maybe.
an average college professor makes 140K.
Okay, so a
That's
lot more than I thought,
average,
actually.
but the range is 66 to 230. So that's why it's called average.
Well, let's just use the average. Let's just use 140.
Yeah.
So teachers, I feel, should make on average maybe half that, like
70.
maybe 70, 80K.
Yeah. But I feel like everybody should get paid more, period. So like that's why it was so hard for me to
Me
like
too.
decide.
Me too. I feel like fast food workers should be making whatever the poverty line is,
Hmm.
they should not be making enough to just be barely above it. That's not how it should
Yeah.
go. I feel like that's crazy.
UVI professors make way less than 90K. Some are making 55 to 60K.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's that's not good. I don't like that. I don't like that.
But
Like people who are literally
mhm,
setting people up to do better in the future
exactly.
aren't even being compensated. And then they go above and beyond. Like you literally work off the clock and on the clock as a teacher. So like
Hmm.
what the fuck? Like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So like there's some teachers right now that are making about 22K a year. And that's crazy.
Yeah. And like Alfonso said, like we ask teachers to do much more than just teach.
Hmm.
They
They have
have
to.
to basically be like friggin' counselors for some kids.
Hmm.
They're responsible for like molding kids' minds and like if you have a troubled child, they have to like basically work with that. Like I don't know, man. My mom was a teacher, and I know a lot of people who are teachers now. And it's like, dude, the amount of stuff that you guys do, and your wife is a teacher, so you already know this
Yep.
too. But the
Hmm.
amount of stuff that you guys have to do,
Yeah.
I'm surprised. It's no wonder there's a shortage, basically.
Yeah. And like they don't get paid properly.
And you
Because,
would think that by the laws of supply and demand, because the supply is low, they would pay more to
yeah.
increase the demand and show like there's a demand.
Hmm.
They refuse. Like we're not gonna
Yeah.
pay y'all more. Like good luck. What the fuck?
And I remember back home there was a thing where they were going to bring in teachers from other places to come teach when there's people that went to school to teach right here on the island.
Yeah.
I don't
You know
know.
something? It kind of reminds me of like right leaning people.
Mm,
They always like basically like suck it up kind of mentality.
hmm.
So you're telling me, right, if we have a shortage of something, you as a right leaning person won't get on the case of the person who's employing to pay more, but you want people to work for them still and just suck it up? Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand the logic.
Yeah, it's crazy. I kind of want to end on positive thoughts. So let's create
Okay.
a positive thought to end on.
All right. I have a good one then.
Okay.
Bologna and taco sauce sandwiches are good.
Oh man.
So basically, my kitchen isn't very stocked up right now, and I've had to improvise with what I have. Recently, one of the improvisations was two slices of bread, bologna, and of course, some mild Taco Bell packets. Taco Bell packets? They wild it to top it all off. I don't know why I decided to go with the packets. They were just there in my fridge, looking at me as I stared back, thinking,
My
should I?
gosh.
I came to the irrational conclusion that I should, and the result wasn't bad at all,
Mm.
in my subjective, radical opinion. I don't think it's that radical. Now, I may make them in less than desperate times as I actually enjoyed it. I urge you all to join me in my exploration of the bologna hot sauce world. I'm sure others who have something better than Taco Bell packets in their fridge may find a better combination.
Yeah, that's not really a unpopular opinion. It's just a different take on food, which is good
Yeah.
to explore.
Speaking about different takes on food, I know this guy named Doughboy.
Hmm.
Well, I don't know him personally, but he used to be on a podcast,
Hmm.
and he used to share some crazy like food ideas,
Yeah,
like putting Skittles inside of his alcohol and stuff like that. Like I think you've done that before
I've
too,
done that
right?
before. Yeah,
Or like let me see a good one that he said once. Damn, my brain sucks, man. I can't remember, but
well, how you
he
gonna
used
remember
to say
that
some good
though?
stuff. He used to say some good stuff.
Yeah,
This person in the reply says, next step is to try frying the bologna in a pan first.
I used to make my own pizza like that.
Really?
I used to
Why
take
used to use the bread
a
though? I mean, it's
a
a
slice of bread, a sliced cheese, and then break up bologna into pieces and put it on the bread, microwave it, eat it.
what sauce you used to use though?
Tomato paste or ketchup.
Mm, that's a real
Just being a kid and just making my own stuff up, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That's
You
why
know what this
I'm
remind
not
me
mad at
of?
this. Yeah,
This remind me of like prison food, like not prison food, but like the prison chefs,
yeah.
whatever they call themselves.
Oh
It
my
remind me of
gosh.
that.
Oh man, it's 3:02. Time to wrap it up.
Well, before we wrap it up, anybody in the comment section, if you're watching this at a later date, comment what kind of interesting combinations you've had or you've made when it comes to food or drinks. I like drinks more than food, actually, with combinations, because I don't
Mm.
know, drinks. Ooh, and
Ooh,
if you have any
speaking of
savory drink
drinks,
ideas, because I feel like that's a unique thing that a lot of people don't really think about.
I think I
Um,
found uh a new champion of the alcohol world. So we
uh-oh.
have our secret recipe that we don't talk about.
Disclaimer for all the alcoholics out there. Hopefully this doesn't trigger you. Go ahead.
So this is Palms Black Cherry, not a
Uh-huh.
sponsor. Mix it with some cream soda. I couldn't taste the alcohol at all. Like it's almost done.
Oh wow.
It was like just
Actually,
perfect.
ever since you showed me the secret recipe for rum punch,
Yeah.
my boy, I be making rum punch and that thing tastes like Starburst.
Dude, I don't know what I was doing. I was just trying different things. Every week I would try a different recipe, and I just found that one. I was like, boom.
Yeah, that shit is always a party favorite when I make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the comment section, write down if you have a savory drink idea that's not soup. Share it. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. I mean, I just told you what to do to comment and subscribe. And don't forget to turn the notification bell on because why wouldn't you want to hear two handsome black men crack jokes and talk about random shit?
Exactly.
Oh,
This
and
was
in the future we will have people on. I wonder if I'll get Alfonso on.
probably. So this has been our Roundtable Talks, the show where we talk about anything. I've enjoyed with my co-host Mino, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks, hopefully with a guest, hopefully with something else to talk about. The Red has been doing us good. We had Ahmad Aso, Unpopular Opinion. We did the sex one last week. It's been good.
Yeah. And now let me end with a
Oh God.
American doing a Crucian accent.
Uh-huh.
Hail up, my youth.
Peace.
Later.